Most footballers think they're working hard. They're training 3, 4, even 5 times a week. They're watching football content. They're doing drills. They're playing matches. And yet somehow, the player they used to be better than 6 months ago is now miles ahead. The teammate who started later suddenly looks sharper, more confident, more dangerous. And that's where frustration starts. Because when you're putting in effort but seeing little progress, it feels like something is wrong with you. But here's the truth. Most players aren't improving slowly because they lack talent. They're improving slowly because they're making training mistakes that feel productive, but actually keep them stuck. And the worst part? These mistakes are so common that most players never realize they're making them. Today, we're going to expose the 3 biggest training mistakes keeping footballers average. Because once you fix these, improvement becomes faster, matches become easier, and confidence starts building naturally. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, you're collecting reps instead of solving problems. This is probably the biggest reason players plateau. Most footballers judge training by one thing. How many reps did I do? 100 touches. 200 passes. 30 minutes of dribbling. An hour at the field. But football improvement isn't about collecting repetitions. It's about solving problems. Think about it. If you repeat the same mistake 1,000 times, you don't become better. You become better at making that mistake. Let's say you're a winger. Every training session you practice stepovers. Every day. Hundreds of them. But in matches you still lose the ball. Why? Because stepovers weren't your problem. Maybe your first touch is poor. Maybe you receive the ball standing still. Maybe you attack defenders too slowly. Maybe you make the wrong decision after beating your man. The skill wasn't the issue. The problem was somewhere else. Elite players train differently. They don't ask, "What should I practice?" They ask, "What is currently limiting my performance?" That's a completely different mindset. After every match, identify one specific weakness. Not 10. 1. Maybe it's scanning. Maybe it's defensive positioning. Maybe it's receiving under pressure. Then build your training around fixing that problem. When training becomes problem-based instead of repetition-based, progress speeds up dramatically. Because now every session has a purpose. Mistake number 2, you're training skills in isolation. Here's something that surprises a lot of players. You can become incredible in training and still struggle in matches. Why? Because football isn't a collection of isolated skills. It's a game of connected decisions. Many players spend years becoming training ground superstars. Amazing dribbling drills. Amazing cone work. Amazing ball mastery. Then match day arrives. And suddenly everything disappears. Why? Because cones don't move. Cones don't press. Cones don't force decisions. Cones don't create uncertainty. Football is chaos. The game rewards adaptation, not memorization. Imagine a midfielder receiving the ball. He doesn't just control it. He scans. Recognizes pressure. Checks teammates. Reads space. Adjusts body position. Chooses a pass. All within seconds. That's football. Not just technical execution. Decision-making under pressure. This is why many players improve technically but stay average competitively. Their training never resembles the game. The solution? Add decisions into everything. If you're practicing first touch, decide where to play next. If you're dribbling, create directional choices. If possible, train against opponents. Even one defender changes everything. Because now your brain is learning alongside your feet. And football is a thinking game disguised as a running game. The players who improve fastest train both. Mistake number 3, you're always training what you're good at. This one hurts. Because everybody does it. We naturally enjoy practicing strengths. It's comfortable. It's fun. It feels successful. A player with great shooting wants to shoot. A player with strong dribbling wants to dribble. A player with pace wants situations where pace dominates. But comfort is where improvement slows down. Think about school. If you got 95% in one subject and 55% in another, where would the biggest improvement come from? The weaker subject. Football works the same way. Your game isn't defined by your best quality. It's often limited by your weakest one. Imagine 2 wingers. One has elite dribbling but terrible decision-making. The other has good dribbling and good decision-making. Who performs better? Usually the second player. Because football rewards complete players. Not highlight reel players. The uncomfortable truth is this. Your biggest growth opportunities are hidden inside the parts of football you avoid. The weak foot. The defensive work. The scanning. The positioning. The communication. The things nobody posts online. The things nobody brags about. That's where massive improvement happens. The fastest improving players regularly ask themselves, what am I avoiding? Then they train that. Because growth lives where comfort ends. Why some players improve 10 times faster. Now let's connect everything. Have you ever noticed how some players seem to improve ridiculously fast? It's not always talent. It's not always coaching. It's not always genetics. Often, they're simply learning faster. And learning faster comes from feedback. Most average players finish a match and move on. The best improvers become detectives. They analyze. They observe. They review mistakes. They search for patterns. For example, every time they lose possession, they ask why. Every time they get caught out defensively, they ask why. Every time they struggle under pressure, they ask why. Instead of protecting their ego, they investigate reality. That's a huge difference. Because football improvement is basically a feedback loop. Play. Analyze. Adjust. Repeat. The shorter the loop, the faster the growth. The longer the loop, the slower the progress. Some players repeat mistakes for years. Others correct them within weeks. Guess who improves faster? How to apply this starting today. So let's make this practical. After your next match, don't immediately think about goals, assists, or highlights. Ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. What situation caused me the most problems? Maybe receiving under pressure. Maybe defending 1v1. Maybe making decisions in transition. Find the situation. Question 2. Why did it happen? Go deeper than surface level answers. Don't say, I lost the ball. Ask, why did I lose the ball? Maybe you didn't scan. Maybe your body position was wrong. Maybe your first touch took you into pressure. Find the root cause. Question 3. How can I recreate that problem in training? That's where real improvement starts. Now your training has direction. Now you're attacking weaknesses. Now you're solving actual football problems. Instead of just staying busy. Because being busy and getting better are not the same thing. And that's a lesson most players learn too late. The identity shift that changes everything. Here's the mindset that separates average players from rapidly improving players. Average players see training as proof of effort. Improving players see training as a tool for adaptation. One focuses on how hard they worked. The other focuses on what changed. That's a massive difference. Because football doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards adaptation. The player who adapts faster gains confidence faster, improves faster, earns trust faster, and ultimately performs better. So stop asking, am I training hard enough? Start asking, am I solving the right problems? That single question can completely change your development. Because improvement isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And once you understand that, progress becomes much harder to stop. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more football psychology, tactical intelligence, and player development content designed to help you improve faster than the competition. And before you leave, comment this: problem solver. Because the players who improve the fastest aren't the ones who train the most. They're the ones who solve the most problems. See you in the next video.